Hi, welcome back to Life Matters. I want to thank you for taking your time to check us out again. This week I'm going to be talking about the second or third in a series about parenting, and I want to talk this week about the relationship you're going to have with your children. Now, for my purposes, I've got 4 different types of relationships, all of which have some usefulness, but only one really works well as the main relationship, the main style of relationship that has the best success for kids long term. So I want to talk to you about the one about the one that I see most often where I live. And the one that I see most often is the one in which sometimes the parent, we get angry and we get tense and we get upset, and all we know to do is say, "No! And you should have known better. Don't do that." Those are often relationships that we talk about in terms of authoritarian or drill sergeant. They're the people who want to make all the decisions for the kids and expect the kids to learn exactly the way they're supposed to do things. I got bad news for you. Kids really don't learn well that way, okay? Because the best way that kids learn is by pitch and catch. They throw out an action, see what comes back. Yeah, okay, you got it. All right, they get something wrong. Okay, that was bad, that was wrong. Okay. Now we start building the good bank, bad bank. They start to believe that they're bad people. And all sorts of other things tend to happen. And what we tend to see out of those kinds of relationships, the kids are very reactive, kids who are far more insecure, and kids who are more likely to be rule breakers than rule followers. All right? Just telling you the way it is. Now, normally those parents, and if you're one of them, you're saying, well, I can't be one of those parents who comes over here and just lets their kids do anything. Well, good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that, because that's the other side of the coin. And that doesn't work either. We call them laissez-faire parents. They kind of live as if, well, go play in the traffic, they'll figure it out for themselves. Well, guess what? The kids don't figure it out for themselves. They get lost in their life. They're just as likely to be depressed as the authoritarian kids are going to be depressed. And the more likely to be anxious as the authoritarian kids are more likely to be anxious. And they're both easily manipulated, one or the other. And neither one of them learn to manage anything because they don't have anybody in there really on their side working with them to help develop the things that they need to develop to be able to move forward and be great kids and great human beings. There's a third type of parenting that's become woefully popular here in the last couple of decade or so, and that's what we call helicopter parents. Now, we all know helicopter parents because they're the parents who are hovering around their children, making sure that they get treated the right way. And you may be one of these parents. If you are, I want you to stop and think about what you're doing real closely. Because the reality is that helicopter parents, hovering parents, they take away the responsibility of the child to figure things out for themselves, because they're busy cushioning them to make sure that they don't get hurt. Now, I want you to know something. When I learned to ride a bicycle, I started out with training wheels. And my dad would run alongside of me because he ran alongside me better than Mom did. But my dad, my mom, sometimes my aunt would run alongside of me and trying to help me learn to keep my balance. Eventually, they took the training wheels off, and the reality was I bummed up my knees more than I really want to think about until my brain developed to the place that I understood what balance really meant, and I was able to figure it out and negotiate all of that and make it happen. And that happens at different ages with different kids, and it's just something that you keep working with until finally they got it. But once they got it, they got it. And that's the reality of life, is that to really get the best outcomes with kids, we got to be that parent who's running alongside of them, helping them figure it out. Because a lot of times they're not ready yet. They don't have the mental capacity. You don't really get all your neural circuits until you're 24 to 26. That means at 13 you really truly are maybe half-baked. The piece is that by taking that relationship where you're running alongside your kid, helping your child figure out right from wrong, good from bad, what works, what doesn't work. You develop a relationship in which you're talking about things. You develop a relationship where you really can help. You develop a relationship that's built on trust. And when kids trust you, they'll talk with you. And as long as they're talking with you, they're trying to work it out. And as long as they're trying to work it out, they're learning. It may take longer than you feel comfortable. It will take longer than the kid feels comfortable. But it's the best way to grow. Those are the kids that are likely to grow up secure. Those are the kids that are likely to have the best emotional balance. Those are the children who are most likely to grow up to be people who can stand on their own and succeed. Not because you ignored them, or because you manipulated them, or because you protected them from all the things in life that could hurt them, but rather you hung in there with them as they figured out how to work through it all. That's the best parenting, and that's the relationship I hope you learn. I'm Randy Crownover. I'm a licensed marital and family therapist. If you'd like to know more about me, check me out on my webpage, randycrownover.com. If you're interested in live in Oklahoma and interested in my services, you can contact me through my webpage. And please remember, if you're willing to bind and you need help, don't stop here. Go find a good licensed therapist. They'll be ready to help. Thank you, and I hope to see you next week when we'll talk more about being a great parent.